Hey, Sel, today I want to talk about that 4-week period. So, a lot of times we can start an exercise program, and what we do is we give up, and we give up within a very small period of time. But what we want to do is we want to at least work on it for 4 weeks as a minimum, maybe even a little bit longer. And what we really want to do is assess where we're at now and see where we get to in that 4 weeks, because then we know whether it's working, whether we need to tweak it in some way, or whether it's just not for us. So we just have to be a little bit more persistent with sticking with things. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. You're not going to get any results within a week.
No,
That's
you
like
might.
saying, I want to lose 10 kilos in a week.
No, that's right. You might find like you've got a little bit more energy maybe in a week's time. So
Yep.
there might be small things that you start to notice. So one of the things that we've done with our programming, because we have been working in this industry for 20 years, and I think sometimes when we first start off, we just do what everybody else does, and then eventually what happens is we find our own rhythm and everything like that, and we actually become, let's say, better trainers, because we're more in tune with mastering the craft and getting those results for the clients that we're working with. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And also understanding your clients better.
Oh, absolutely.
Being more in tune with your clients. Yeah.
I'm sure our clients ask us, it's always a question. Here's a question. Can you answer this question? So we like to actually get in their heads and understand how they think. And I recently put up a question like that, and it was interesting to read. I think it was Trin's. Did you read Trin's comments on it?
I think so, yeah.
So it was interesting that what drives her is about having good health and what that means for her, because I said, explore that a little bit more. And it was about having stronger bones.
Yeah.
So, and probably bones are one thing that we don't think about that often. As far as the workout's concerned, I thought, that's a good little tip. Thanks very much, Trin.
Yeah.
Yep. But I think to see any type of improvement, it requires consistency. So we do need to do it consistently, let's face it. We need to go to each workout with intention, and we need to be more aware of how our body is moving and responding to the exercises that we're doing. So let's talk about intention. What do you think, or what pieces of advice could we give around intention?
Well, the first thing for me is connecting with your body. Connecting with your body and understanding what you are doing physically.
Yeah.
And feeling it physically.
Yeah.
Because we often see ladies that will be doing a workout. I've done it myself. And you go in and you're doing your workout and you are literally just going through the motions, because you're thinking about, oh, what should I cook for dinner tonight? Oh, I've got to hang that load of washing out. Oh, I've got to go and pick the kids up from school. Oh, I've got to get that from groceries. And you're not in the moment of your workout.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the thing about intention is, am I just going into that workout just to get it done? Or am I going into this workout to intentionally give it everything that I've got? Or am I going into this workout to do it a little easier because I am feeling a little bit tired, or I am feeling a little fatigued, and so therefore I want to do the workout, but I know intentionally I need to pull myself back, because otherwise I'm going to injure myself. So
yeah. Because if you were going in there with intentions, you're going in with a reason.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important.
Yeah. Like my intention this morning was for this week, this is actually workout number 4 for me this week. That's not including all the moves and everything that I do with coaching, but I don't count those things. So it's workout number 4. So it's like, okay, this is my final workout. So I always reset my week on a Sunday. So I start my next week on the Sunday. So this is my final workout. What I want to do is I want to be conscious of, my intention is to not get wobbly in my knees on my squats, okay, because I had noticed that I wasn't bracing myself enough through that push. And so I needed to make sure that I wasn't starting to put that pressure on the knees and cause some aches and pains with that, right? So that was one of my intentions this morning. It was also to get through 2 full sets with the heavy weights and to really be strong in my overhead lifts. So there were a lot of other things other than that, and I won't bore you with all those details, but there was a lot going on in my head about what I wanted to achieve with that workout.
And they were your goals for just one workout. And I think that's very important when we talk about intention. It's very important to have those goals. It doesn't always have to be this big, massive goal. It can be, these are my goals for the next 30 minutes in my workout.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we have mentioned that awareness is really important. So where are we starting? Okay, and where do I want to get in that 4 weeks? And what I'm going to do is assess myself at the end of the 4 weeks. So what I've actually done in this 4 weeks is I've actually gone through and I have written down all of the things. And this took me a while because I was just thinking about what am I noticing? And so it wasn't something that I rushed through, and it wasn't something that I sat there and just did. It was a progressive thing for me. What am I noticing? So the first thing that I noticed, Sal, was strength gains. So I'm definitely stronger. I'm lifting heavier weights and I'm more confident with it. So I'm feeling like things are more manageable. And I also am aware of recognizing the need to increase the resistance. If it's becoming comfortable or too easy, I've got to up the level. Now, you probably have noticed this with other ladies or even with myself. Do you want to explore strength gains? What are you noticing with the ladies?
The 2 exercises that I'm noticing is in our shoulder presses. So we are getting full range of motion and we are getting correct form.
Yeah.
And this is one thing we've been discussing with the ladies. When they're pulling down, at the start, they're pulling down with elbows at the front, where we want them to pull back into their shoulder blades. So I've noticed that. And their range of motion. So once again, the range of motion at the start was like this movement. So the elbows were still bent and pulling back, where we've got them coming right up now.
Yes.
And there's no fatigue. I'm not seeing any fatigue in those shoulder presses. And the other ones are the skull crushers,
Yes.
Because that has not been an exercise that we have done regularly. But I have noticed definitely like technique and range of motion has improved so much in that exercise.
Yeah. I really love the skull crusher. It was probably my personal little one that I just threw in there for good measure. Because it really gets those tricep muscles really well. And it's supported as well too, Sal.
And it's an exercise that you have to connect with. It's not an exercise that you can just let your mind wander into the sunset outside.
No.
You have to connect with that exercise to get it correct.
Otherwise, you will, crush your skull.
Crush your skull with your weights, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So you do have to take it a little bit easier. So, yeah, I'm definitely noticing that, and the kids took grandkids, they took a photo of me this week. I was sitting there and I really noticed, like they took it from the side on, and I really noticed how much more definition that I actually had there. It's not, it's not like, I'm not like Arnold or anything like that, but there's definitely some level of improvement. So, yeah. All right. The next thing that I noticed was my form and technique. I'm consistently, as you've already mentioned, I'm getting full range of motion. I've got a very heightened awareness of my body during the workouts, and I'm prioritizing the proper form, and I'm taking my time to execute those movements correctly.
Yeah.
And
I think range of motion is a really good one that you will notice your progress on.
Yes, absolutely. And I think I've also connected with how to gauge when to push harder to get the results that I want.
Yeah.
A lot of deep stuff here. I've done a lot of deep thinking, haven't I?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything you want to add as far as form and techniques concerned?
No, you've covered everything, definitely.
Okay. All right. Visible physical changes was the other thing, which I've already talked about my arms. So there is definitely enhanced muscle definition. It's becoming a lot more apparent. And I've had a few ladies, my PT ladies, say, have you lost weight? And I've gone, well, I've changed my body composition.
Yep.
Okay, so I don't really focus on that number on the scale. I'm more about how are my clothes fitting me and what is my body composition, because my body composition is more about how is my health, that in conjunction with, getting those regular blood tests and the likes from my doctor to make sure that everything's progressing well. And, one of the things I know about, the tests that I've had was that everything is really, really good. And, if I think about it, my grandmother passed away younger than what I am now, in my 60s. So, and I'm someone who's progressing quite well, and I'm not on any medication because, I gag when I take medication. So I don't really want to take it if I can help it. And the other thing that I'm noticing, Sal, is my tummy is a lot more flatter.
Yeah.
Anything to notice? Have you noticed any physical changes in any of the ladies?
I have noticed mind blank. Justine's shape has definitely changed.
Yep.
Like her body composition. And, as you said, like people saying, have you lost weight? When you strength train, you've got to keep in mind that you'll either stay the same weight or you'll put on weight because your muscles, you're building muscles. Yeah. But Justine, she's definitely changed in her composition.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. And, you can see it, like I often comment, I go, oh, there's a little deltoid there, or there's a little bicep. Oh, look at that, V, like her legs.
Yeah.
Like, they look amazing. I wish I had her legs.
Jill's another one, like the muscles in her arms. That have changed, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. The next thing that I have noticed is balance and stability. So definitely my overall balance is like skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And I've definitely got increased stability during my exercises. But here's what I did notice, because this all translated to functional fitness improvements. So I am now doing the balance bars and climbing at the parks, like with 7 and 8 year old kids.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it like really well.
Yeah.
Whereas I'd be all over the place in the past. So
yeah.
that's huge. But I effortlessly, I'm going to use that word, I lifted and carried dead weight of 34 kilos when a grandchild fell asleep and I had to move them out of, one place to the other bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, that was pretty significant. And then when they asked me for piggyback rides, I could do that. And after I got going with it, I could actually run with it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just dragging my feet along. So definitely my agility is better as well too. So
yeah. Yeah.
that means my
And,
farm
that's
works
something
easier.
that you noticed outside the studio. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's something that you've noticed that's happening outside the studio.
Oh, totally.
Outside your workout. Yeah.
And that's the whole point. That's why we're doing it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we want to be able to live life better. So what are the things that we want to improve? So lower body strength, squats are deeper, they're more controlled. I've got increased power and stability in my lower body movements. My physical capacity in everyday situations, I've definitely got increased energy and vitality, which is massive. There's been a lot of mental benefits to it. So I've got a lot more confidence in my ability. I'm feeling better about my body. And I really haven't had any issues with my body anyway, so for quite a long time. But because I don't worry that, my nose isn't perfect or my bum isn't the size that I want it to be or whatever the case may be. It's like I always think about how is my body supporting me? And I think that's a good way to be. But definitely it does boost your self-esteem when someone says something to you about your body as well too. So
I was just going to say self-esteem booster.
Yeah, it totally is. Yeah, totally is. My muscle endurance is better. So my arms are, and you mentioned this already, less fatigue during the overhead activities. And so there's definitely better stamina happening.
Yeah.
And then my final thing that I wrote down was my posture and alignment. So I think if I went and measured myself, I'd be taller.
Yeah.
So
and it's interesting. It's interesting that you say that about posture being better. As you know, Shane, my client who has Parkinson's, and that's what we do. We're in the gym just to keep him moving. And his physio has told him that his posture is a lot better and he's not dropping or hunched forward or anything.
Beautiful. Yeah, huge benefits, isn't it? Because you're more upright, which means you sit better, you stand better, you move better, and that also gives you a lot more confidence as well too.
Yeah.
So is there anything else that I haven't mentioned? As I said, these are just things that I've mentioned, I've found for myself over the last 4 weeks. So is there anything that you've noticed with the ladies outside of those things?
Motivation and routine.
Oh, yes.
The motivation and the routine. They're motivated. You can see the excitement when they're coming into the studio about getting this workout done, and the interest, when we're talking about how we do different exercises, why we're doing them, correcting their technique, those sort of things. The interest is there. And so I think that then flows on to the motivation because, you know what, I'm enjoying this. So, I'm going to get my next workout done. I'm going to get my next one done. So, the motivation is definitely there.
So do you think we should wrap up today with actually going through, here's some questions to ask yourself after the 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we've got the questions down that we asked our ladies. So this might be very helpful for you when you get to the end of that 4 weeks that you're going to commit to for us. Okay, so the first thing that we've got is, have you noticed any changes in how manageable your weights feel? And if so, in what exercises? The next one is, are you able to perform exercise with a fuller range of motion compared to where you started? Do you want to explain, Sal, range of motion?
So your range of motion is start to finish of an exercise. So if we take a bicep curl, for example, because that's the easiest one to do, your range of motion is thigh. I like to, you know, this is the way I do it. So it's thigh, shoulder, thigh. So your range of motion is getting those hands from the thigh up and back down to the thigh.
Yes, yeah.
And a reduced, when we talk about a reduced range of motion, if you are lifting heavy, you know, you might only get your hands here. You're not getting them all the way up to your shoulder. You're getting them here. You're feeling your muscles like really, really engage. And you don't want to adjust your technique to get them here. And by adjusting your technique, I'm just going to go sideways. So if this is our range of motion, you don't want to roll your fist because you think, I've got to get those weights up here.
Yes.
You know?
Or sway your body.
Or sway your body, or momentum.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. Yeah. So that's a great example of range of motion. So you can use that for any exercise. The next one we've got for you is how has your body awareness changed during the workout? Are you more mindful of your form? You know, what does it happen to be? All right. So should we explore form, a definition of form?
So your form is how you are performing that exercise. There's technique and there's form, you know, so connecting with your form, say a squat, for instance.
Yep.
You know, when you're going down in your squat, are my feet under my hips? You know, when I go down, am I pushing into my toes or am I bringing my weight into my heels? Am I bringing my knees over my toes? Am I just not even bending my legs and just bending forward, hoping someone thinks that's a squat? And that is because when we get tired, we can change our form.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We can.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure. Okay. Next question is, have you observed any improvements in your balance or stability? So that's your uprightness.
Yes.
If
and
that's a word.
My ladies that I have on a Monday were telling me there's a TV show on at the moment on one of our TV stations here, and it's about aging.
Yes.
And one of the tests there to test your balance was standing, hands across your chest.
Yep.
Standing on one leg and closing your eyes, and how long could you stand there? So that would be at the end of it, that would be a wonderful test to see how your balance has improved.
And I know that I've done a couple of reels on that as well too, balance. And just recently, Sal, there was one where, you know, I came in from a walk and I stood and took my shoes off.
Yeah.
And then place your shoe on the ground. So you're actually bending forward with it as well too. So that's a really good one for stability and balance.
And, you know, doing those tests at the beginning, you know, you could do that test at the beginning.
Oh, totally, you could.
See how long you hold that balance pose for, how many seconds, and then redo it at the end of your 4 weeks.
Absolutely, you could, yeah. Next question is, are you noticing any changes in your muscle definition? And that's where photos can be helpful, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. So don't be scared of the camera.
No, we always talk about before and after photos.
Yeah. Or even body composition. So, actually doing your body composition before you start, and then what it's like when you finish as well too.
Yeah.
That's another one. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you squats? If you're going to do strength training, there's got to be a squat in there somewhere, some type of squat. There's lots of different squats. So how do your squats feel compared to when you first started? Any change in the depth or stability?
Yeah.
Have you noticed any improvements in daily activities outside of your workout? And if so, what are they?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any exercises that you feel are easier now and that you should be considering to challenge yourself more?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Got to
perfect
add that in there.
example for us this month is the shoulder press.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. How has your endurance changed since starting the program? Do you want to explore the word endurance for everyone?
How often are you stopping to have a quick sip of water or catch your breath?
Yeah, exactly. Good explanation. Have you noticed any improvements in your flexibility or mobility?
Deadlift will be the perfect one to test yourself in. Well,
yes.
For us ladies in the studio.
What we've been doing.
Yeah.
Flexibility. And the distinct difference in flexibility and mobility is, let's say you're standing upright and you lift your knee up towards your chest, okay? And you don't use your hands in any way. That's your mobility. So that's your joint and your muscle working together. If I now take my hands and I pull my knee up further, that's my mobility. My flexibility.
Flexibility, yeah.
So that's the difference there. Are you more aware of when you can push yourself harder during the workout? So you're noticing, that mindset, that motivation, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Have you observed any changes in your energy levels or your mood since you started? Are there any unexpected benefits you've experienced from being consistent? Maybe you're starting to like it.
Maybe your healthy eating habits have changed. Maybe your eating habits have changed.
Absolutely.
For the better.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm going to say that I've always been pretty good with water and I've always been pretty good with protein, but I know that this month I've definitely been, my water, I think I've had a few drinks as we've been talking as well too. Definitely drinking more water and definitely really, really focused on my protein to help my muscles repair and recover. Yeah. And do what they need to do. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Where are we up to? So consistent training. Okay, we've got 3 more to go. How has your recovery between sessions changed since you started? So day 1, you probably went, oh my goodness, I'm so sore. But now, 4 weeks into it, it's like, okay, I'm noticing the muscles, but I definitely am not as sore as what I was in week 1.
Yeah.
And this is your favorite cell. How has your motivation changed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because we know with our free group, women get active and healthy, we know that is 99% of what people are looking for.
Oh, totally.
How do I get motivation?
Yeah, because it's a question that we ask when you come into that group, women over 50 get active and healthy, and it's like, what's your biggest challenge? And, if 10 people come in, I would say 8 of them have said motivation in some way, shape or form.
Yeah.
So, motivation is a big one. And we've done lots of chats about that as well too. So,
yeah. And this is, as you said, it's a question, how's your motivation changed? You know, but this is another thing that you can measure right down at the beginning. Put it in your tracker that we were talking about. At the beginning of your 4 weeks, how are you feeling? Ugh, I don't really want to do it, but here we go, type thing.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
write down how you're feeling at the end of the 4 weeks.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And then the next part of it is, final question is, what aspect of your fitness do you feel has improved the most? So that could be anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Muscles, body endurance, flexibility. Could be your mind too.
Oh, yeah. I think that's a big one for me is, you know, I know that I'm much more keen to actually keep going. And what it's done is it's enabled me to be more aware of how much I'm sitting when I'm working at my desk. And so I'm now more conscious of moving a lot more.
Yep.
So, you know, my step counts are really quite high. And that's because I've gained that momentum from everything else that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing to finish up with, Sal, is to really say that if you are starting a fitness program and it is a strength workout, you know, start with 2 days, you know, as a minimum. You know, go to 3 is probably better. But as you get stronger, you might find that you might end up doing 4 days. And it depends on how you're going to do that training as well too, because you certainly don't want to overload every muscle and then back it up the next day. That's not going to be conducive to anything.
No. And keep in mind too, if you're just starting out, you know, 1 kilo, 2 kilo dumbbells. Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
You do not have to go and buy 10 kilo dumbbells.
And I really don't
because
think
that is when you will go, you know what, I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
You'll injure yourself, one of the two.
Yeah. And I think the other thing, Sal, is to mention, you know, dumbbells are really all you need. You don't really need anything fancier than that. Yoga mat, you know, maybe, you know, to have a little bit of sponginess underneath you to do it. I just do it on the carpet. I don't worry about a yoga mat. But also, I love a stepper because the stepper is great for split squats, as an example. And it's great for glute work, you know, and to get all aspects, because there are 3 different muscles in your glutes. So you want to get all aspects of that. So the stepper is just fantastic for that. But also, if you're a little shorty like you or I, you can use your stepper as a bench as well too. Yeah. So you don't have to actually go out and buy a bench. You've actually got one there. Yeah. So, all right. So anything you want to finish up with?
No, I think we've covered everything.
All right. Okay, ladies. Well, I hope that you've got something out of that, and I hope it's inspired you to actually go, okay, I'm going to be consistent, intentional, and aware of what I'm doing, and I'm going to do it for 4 weeks, and I'm going to sit down and see what I've actually achieved at the end of the 4 weeks, because you could be really, really surprised. If you take a listen to everything that I've listed off, I'm sure we're going to get that type of thing coming through from our ladies when they go through and they do that this month as well too. So, stay tuned. Thanks, Sel, for joining me.
Thank you for having me as always.
You're very welcome. Thanks, ladies. We'll see you all soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
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 Bye.